My name is Hans Martin. I am one of the developers of the Moonshot Collective. I'm currently working on Pay.Party. So from the last cycle, we went through some major refreshes, and the goal of this refresh that I'm going to show you in a second is focusing primarily on like more permissionless, more responsive paying. So this can really be extended to just about any sort of like democratic payment principles, meaning that like you place votes to receive money, tokens, ether. That's kind of the whole focus of this product, and it's supposed to solve trying to pay people in the DAO, which is like a really hard thing to do when there's no structured hierarchy in a traditional sense. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll run it through you guys real fast. So I'm going to share the desktop. If it's too small, let me know so that I can zoom in. How does that look?
Looks good.
Great. Okay, so
gotcha.
First things first, right? You connect your wallet, as always. I don't mind the link, but right now, I will just run you through creating a Pay.Party. So once again, the idea is like really permissionless. Anybody can create a Pay.Party. Anybody can distribute. And so if we do test dog fooding on Zoom, and
we're dog fooding live. I love it.
Dude, dog
and on Zoom.
Food
I better get so many
live.
points for what dog fooding was.
And you guys get to see how bad of a typer I am. We'll just copy in a bunch of addresses. There's some ENS in here like Owaki, Austin, Samir, Brent. I'm just going to use both for both of these guys. So what this is we have participants and we have candidates. Candidates are people that you're voting on. Participants are people who can participate and vote in that election party. So the idea is that you can have as many participants as you want, maybe voting on a select few of people, or in this case, we're just going to have the same participants and candidates. And we're going to submit this. We're going to sign this transaction, creating this election. That's going to be uploaded. It should be pretty fast. Here we go. Test dog fooding. Now what we see is we
used to be way slower, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like that's so fast.
This is so much faster. And that was like one of the big focuses of like this development cycle is like, let's make this thing responsive. Let's make it like scalable and usable for like, not just us, but just any DAO that wants to adopt using this method for paying people. So what this is, what you see right now is everybody is distributed an amount of votes. Right now it's 5 times the number of candidates. So in this case, it looks like we have 8 candidates, so that's 40 votes. And we can just distribute these in any way we want. So I'll give, well, I don't know, 12, 11, 8, 1. Oop, can't go over. We'll just give another 8. I'll vote. We should see this is implementing EIP 712, so we should actually see this data structure. That way we can verify that we're actually voting. What we put here is what we're voting. So we should see 12.
So good.
11. Yeah, freaking
It's a
awesome.
good idea to make it so you could see what you could sign. I like that.
So,
smart.
User feedback is still something that we're implementing. So I just placed a vote, but there's no real refresh to the UI yet. But if we go back and we actually refresh the page, then we'll see that we actually get what's currently showing a linear score. Now, if we don't want to, this just means that we're adding up every vote. So if another person would vote, say, give this address another 12, then this would be 24, right? And that would account for 30% of the score. But if we want to change the strategy, and this is one of the big key points of this new Pay.Party, is implementing different strategies. So right now it's on linear strategy, but we can also have quadratic strategy. And we can actually implement any sort of strategy that we want. So quadratic strategy is taking the sum of the square roots of the votes for each of these candidates. And that just generally levels out the distribution a little bit more. So no whale, no person who just gives every vote to one particular candidate will skew the election too much. And we can actually implement any number of strategies. So we can have, I don't know, exponential, we can have top 3, we can have winner takes all. Right now there's only linear and quadratic implemented, but we can easily add more. Now, something I mentioned earlier was like the permissionlessness of using Pay.Party. And the idea is like it should be allowed for anybody to pay out one of these Pay.Parties, whether everybody has voted or not. So right now I'm the only one who's voted, but if I still wanted to pay it out with this distribution, say a quadratic distribution, we can load up any arbitrary ERC20 on whatever network we're going to be running. So if we use, say, Uniswap on Groli, which is what we're currently using, and we load that up, we can load this token. And let's say we wanted to give away 0.01 uni. Well, we're going to have to approve that first, of course. But once that's approved, we should be able to distribute it via this distribution. So once again, this tool is like really meant to solve payments to groups of developers. That's our use case, but it could be applied to just about any sort of democratic voting system that you want to like reward people with. So we can go ahead and confirm that transaction, and it should roll through using the quadratic distribution. So UI is pretty early right now. We are still working on it, but we're going to be using it this Thursday for our actual like internal use, and we're going to start using it more so. So yeah, that's Pay.Party. Does anybody have any questions?
So cool. Thanks, Hans. That decoupled strategy thing is really exciting for me. I want to like mess around and try to play with a couple of strategies like credit card roulette strategy, winner take all. There's a lot of radical stuff that we could do from a mechanism perspective there. And it sounds like we're using Pay.Party to actually pay people in the collective too, right? So that those demos are happening. Yeah.
So like once again, the tool is like developed for our internal use, but like it can easily be extended to anything that has to do with voting and receiving value.
I had a question. So what about implementation with a Gnosis Safe? How's that? How does that work?
Gnosis Safe is still a work in progress, but it's almost there.
Shouldn't Wallet Connect do that out of the box? It abstracts.
We can Wallet Connect to it.
You can Wallet Connect.
One of the problems that Gnosis Safe has though is how we actually implement their toolkit with the rest of the application, receiving like notifications and transactions. It's going to take a little bit longer to implement Gnosis Safe properly, but Wallet Connect should work just fine.
You're talking about building like a native safe app or something like that? Is that what you mean by integrating the Gnosis Safe?
Like checking transactions on Gnosis Safe is just not something that I've been focusing on. And I don't think any of the team has been focusing on it. So
we just wallet connect in with the safe. Like we use Pay.Parties already. We do a Pay.Party and we get to the point where we go to distribute and then we wallet connect in and we connect the Gnosis Safe. And by we, I mean Emu. But it's a lot of work, but it works fine. Like that, you should be able to wallet connect in any Gnosis Safe into any dApp and use it like you're a user, which is like a huge unlock in the space, I think.
Great. That sounds perfect. I've tried using Gnosis Safe, but it kept failing the transactions when I was creating it. So I haven't actually tested myself, but yeah.
Hit me up in the DM. I will sponsor you to get your own Gnosis Safe and get some money like protected, because it's a safer way to own things too, rather than having them in your EOA. Great work, Hans. This is awesome. I know you've been battling on this front for a long time.
Great work.
Great work.
Great work.